Hey everybody, Marion, the Inappropriate Artist here. I have a lot of explaining to do. I've been scattered with my videos and doing my best to just keep up with posts, but I haven't really explained what's going on too much. So here's the deal. This is the big update. I've been on the road for 3 years in my van. It is a Ford E250 2003, right? Low roof, no refrigerator. I did have a Jackery 1000 and solar panel. However, that got stolen when I was in Texas back in March. I had already been having difficulty with past food issues. It's, the one thing about living in the van, it revealed a lot to me about myself, right? I had done years of trauma therapy and work, and my therapist and I had gotten to a point where she was like, dude, you're done for now until you can identify who you are as an individual without all of the other external influences. And so that's why getting into the van was such a good thing for me, right? And I did learn a lot. Mostly, in the beginning, it was just survival, learning how to be in the van. And then I had a whole year of really what felt like free travel, just being able to maintain, get by, survive. It was always hand to mouth. I never had, except for that one brief period of 13 weeks in Texas in 2021, where I did have unemployment. And that's what afforded me the Jackery, my vent in the ceiling, the Max Air fan that I put into the ceiling, my moonshade awning, which also helped to cool the space. These things made living in the van for another year and a half possible, right? So when my Jackery got stolen, I was already in a place of knowing that I needed a refrigerator. The constant upkeep of a cooler was getting detrimental to my health because my ADHD was taking over. Painting became more important than eating because I needed to make money. So I would not set up for eating. And because of the way my space was in the van, there was no way for me to paint and cook at the same time. And I'm one of those people that needs that. If I have to break everything down, that is not going to get done for a couple of days. So if I was knowing that I needed to produce paintings, I basically live on peanut butter and crackers and, burritos because they were easy and it was one pan, burrito in, done, pan away, and I'm painting again. If I had to prep food, it meant everything had to go away because I needed every surface to help me prep food. So it just became a difficulty, and I lost so much weight that it was affecting my joints. I am aware that there may be more issues with my joints than I'm able to tell at the moment, but I won't really know that until I can put on more weight. I'm getting better. I am starting to put on weight. I'm eating more regularly. I'm still working on that. It's not easy for me. My first meal of the day is always the hardest meal of the day because as soon as I start eating, I start getting sleepy. It does not matter what I eat. I've done shakes. I've done protein. I've done animal protein, vegetable protein. I've done berries mixed with bananas because I can't do berries by themselves. I've tried all of the things. It does not matter. As soon as food hits my belly, all of my energy goes to digesting. I no longer have any energy left for anything else. So I tend to graze. And unfortunately, grazing for me means always having to have edible food available at the drop of the hat. And if I'm having to cook, that's an issue. So the reason I had to stop for a while, right? I always knew that this point in time would come because I have to make progress on the project, right? And right now, I've collected so much information. 3 years, 29 states of traveling. I have collected all of this information. And now I am someplace where I have a friend who has these units and she's rented it to me for a very reasonable rate. I do have to do chores, to keep my rent down, but I also get studio space. So it's going to enable me to work on larger paintings. I want to do a show called 29 and Counting. It will be large scale paintings of all of the states that I have visited, as well as some smaller scale paintings available as well. The idea of this show is to fund my next vehicle, my next home on wheels. And what is my goal for my next home on wheels? After a lot of deliberation, 3 years worth of deliberation, and living in the van and knowing what I need and don't need in my existence, I have decided that a box truck is going to be my best conversion. And I want the box truck with the overhead cab because I'm going to convert this box truck into a C-class RV. Why don't I want to purchase a regular RV? Because they're not built well. And I need something that is insulated for me. Why? Because the 21 states I have left, except for Hawaii, are all cold weather states. And so I am going to be still wintering in the South because my body needs that. But what a insulated all weather unit like that is going to do for me is a number of things. One, the box truck is big enough with the overhead cab for me to put like my bed up above the cab. So then I have a bedroom. I can actually build closet space that is adequate for me, and then build a kitchen and build an art studio and proper art storage into my box truck. And so when I open up that back door, that whole back half of my space is going to be art studio / gallery. So when I'm parked somewhere, I can open up that door. I will have walls that have hanging art, as well as a platform that's going to fold out in the back for me to be able to stand and paint on outside in the elements if I wish. Or I can paint from inside because I'm going to make sure there's a picture window in there for me to be able to paint from inside on inclement weather days. When I do this, the goal is also to have some sort of tow vehicle or an electric bike. Okay, so I have been looking into electric bikes. They make beautiful ones now that can have off-road tires on them. So I can take them some pretty cool places. What makes more sense to me, though, however, is like a little Subaru, right? That I can soup up and make into a good off-road vehicle that I can also, if I need to, spend a night in, right? So if I go out someplace and I want to, I've parked my truck in a campground, right? So that Nugget has climate control. Okay, say this is the scenario and I'm in a place like, someplace where I have access to some off-road trails, and I want to take an overnight so that I can paint at dawn, considering that dawn is my favorite time of the day, right? So this would enable me to go camp for a night, wake up in the morning and do sketches in the morning to take back to the studio and make finished paintings out of. So this is all the formal end of the for me, what I'm working toward, right? That's what this year is about for me, and I hope I can do it in a year. This area also has a lot of galleries. There are already a couple that, one which I'm already represented in, and another that is going to be opening soon that I'll be able to put work in as well. So I will be able, and at that time, I'll be creating for works for sale as well as works for my state project, right? So this is going to be a lot for me, and I need to be sitting still in order to accomplish this. I cannot be worrying about where I'm going to park every single night. How am I paying for this? Well, the first few months is being covered by generous contributors, patrons. I have a patron from Patreon who's making sure that I have a couple of months of financial assistance so that I don't have to worry about the money. And then I have another one who has popped up. So, and that's maybe 2 to 3 months worth of bills. So 1 month is already paid for. That's this month of May. And now we have June and July coming up. So I am busy making as much little work for sale so that I can keep adding to the coffers. I'm not going to try to save during the course of this year unless I make above and beyond my needs for the box truck. The idea is that the show, when I finish all of these larger scale paintings, I mean, there's going to be 29 of them and then 29 smaller versions of different scenes of the states that I've chosen as like runner-ups, you know? And they'll be smaller scales, so they'll be a different price point. But all of the monies that come in from that, the goal is that every penny goes to buying my new home on wheels so that I can finish the rest of these states. I would like to also continue renting a home base here in town. Now that may be like an Airbnb type rental, so I only come in and rent for the period that I'm going to be here. But being stationary and in a sticks and bricks is, I am realizing, important for this human to be able to focus on production. Along with these paintings, we'll be going a storyboard, and the storyboard will be for the finished book. So I will, as I am pulling out paintings of these states that I've been in over the last 3 to 4 years, because I'm including for the year before all of the shots that I took of Connecticut and some of Massachusetts. I was shooting them with the idea that I wasn't returning. So they were going to be my images of the state. That's where I'm going to start. So with this project will also go a storyboard. I am also doing exercises in this little sketchbook. If you want to stay up to date on my little daily sketches that I'm going to be doing in this, they're going to be memory sketches. This is all about improving my muscle memory and my memory of the landscape and color. So that's what this is. And if you want to follow along with the progress on this, along with the storyboard for the book, become a member on Patreon. I have 3 tiers right now. I'm going to increase the number of tiers so that there's more versatility. Everyone on my Patreon sees the same thing. I did not choose to do Patreon rewards because it becomes complicated tax-wise. I can't handle all that complication with everything else that I'm doing, and I have no problem saying that. I've also seen other creators who have very successfully done exactly what I am doing, and that is, you know, it's basically saying to you, the patron, contribute what you can, and you will get all the same information. It's all about where you are and how much you can contribute. I am looking to build my Patreon. I want that to become a sustainable income so that when I do hit the road again, I am not stuck in this same spiral of financial insecurity. Why am I not stopping and getting a job? Okay, I did get offered a job. What I realize is that the hours required for almost every job in town, and I don't do well with computer jobs. So those stay-at-home, remote, digital nomad type things, not great at it. It's hard enough for me to keep up with my own. But aside from that, so I have the difficulties mentally of being able to accomplish not only my projects that I have on the table that people have been contributing to, that you have been contributing to for the last 3 years, but then to add a job on top of it. Unfortunately, my brain, the way that it works, and I know there's people out there who are going to argue with me about this, but I have 50 years of experience with my brain. So, and a number of therapists and psychiatrists who agree with me. So I've been validated. I need regular rest. And by that, I mean just like being able to lay flat and rest my neck, being able to rest my brain. Periods of meditation throughout the day are important for me. So you may be asking why. Well, because I've chosen not to be medicated. And in the choice to not be medicated, some of you are like, oh, well, why make it so hard on yourself? Just be medicated. The choice to not be medicated has more to do with the side effects of ADHD medication. I struggle with keeping weight on to the point where it's painful. When I take the medication, one of the side effects is loss of appetite. I can't afford that side effect. So I made a decision. I have to apply for disability. That's also the reason for staying here. Creating a residency for myself. I need to become a resident of New Mexico, and that will take some time. I know there's some of you who say, well, you started the process in Texas. I don't feel at home in Texas. I have one friend there whom I do love dearly, but that's it. I have a couple of other friends, acquaintances, but they're scattered around the state. It is massive. It's not community. Here, I have community. Here, I have emotional support, as well as a community that is walkable. And so anyway, all of these things I had to take into consideration. And also the availability came to me in the nick of time. It was fortuitous for certain. It's not an end to anything by any means. This is just the point in which I need to stop, repair my body, and in the process of doing that, I can work on these other parts of my project that need to be moved forward on. It'll just mean that production-wise, toward the end, I won't have as much to do, right? And if I'm giving myself, and I create a regular schedule for myself of stopping every winter to work on what I collected the last time through, right? So it'll be something that happens with a little bit more regularity. Again, it's still going to stay pretty spontaneous. I mean, it is what it is. I'm being led on this journey for sure. But yeah, so for those of you who are really surprised or only watched because I was in a van, thanks for watching. But if you are here for the full journey, for this whole project, for the painting of 50 states, then that means that living in this sticks and bricks for a little bit of time is part of the journey. My van is still out there. And another reason why I needed to take this time is to prolong the life of my van. It only has so much lifespan in it, and I have $0 to go toward a new vehicle. So I gotta keep this. I will be able to take small trips. Once my body is more healed, and I have a better eating regimen, I will start going on short trips because I want to do the northern part of New Mexico, and the summer is the perfect time to do that. Go up into the mountains and into the forests of Taos and around Santa Fe, and in the northwest corner is absolutely gorgeous. So there's a whole bunch I haven't seen, and then there's the Petrified Forest in Arizona, which is just a 4-day trip away, like a 4-day weekend kind of thing. So I can still expand my landscape and still have some travel videos that will be a part of, right? Just know that there's changes happening, and I am evolving, so my channel is evolving, and this project is evolving, and it's becoming. I mean, it was so abstract to me for the first couple years. Really, it was. I felt like, oh my God, what have I done? But when I stopped and I realized, and I did a count, and I've been going through these images, I have a lot of freaking information, a lot, and it needs to be organized and sorted through. And so now is the perfect time for me to stop and do that. I need to do little bits at a time. I'm eating a freaking elephant here. So one bite at a time is how this works. Please consider becoming a patron on Patreon to help support this journey and this project and me as an artist. I am working hard to create passive income so that I can continue to do what I am doing. I have finally found in my 50 years a job that fits me and fits my body and fits my spirit and fits my brain. I'd like to keep it. It's fulfilling. And I feel like I'm helping others with it as well at the same time as being able to fulfill and help myself. So if you're one of those out there and you got $5 a month you want to throw my way, I would so appreciate it. If you are enjoying this content and getting something out of it, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Yes, you can do one-time contributions through PayPal, but I'll tell you what, I would much rather have the patrons on Patreon. I work very hard on that content, and I would like more people to see it. So, check it out. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. There will be more coming soon, but this is just an update that I know is overdue. I've had enough questions, so this is not necessarily a permanent location for me. But it is, at least for the time being. So I have some security at least for the next month or two. And we'll see how it goes. We're hoping 6 months I can keep this to a year. I would like to just stay here. I'm not going to stay in this big unit. The unit that I'm going to be renting is next door. It is half the size of this. But I have full access to the studio out back. So it does mean Nuggets running around is going to slow down. I'm going to build something for her. So we'll see. But you'll get to see the evolution of that other place as I move into it and get it going. I'm going to try to film some of that too. But, this is really a channel all about me and my growth as an artist and all of the pitfalls, all of the roadblocks, all of the hurdles that I have to jump, and then all of the amazing, free-for-all runways, slides, and times to soar that come in between, right? Because life is like that. Life is not just smooth. It never is for anyone. And if any one of us expects it, dude, there's a rude awakening coming to you. I love what this wise man said to me and said to a room full of people. honey, life doesn't get better. You do. So, with that in mind, I am continuing to move forward on my project. And I hope that you continue to stick around and support the journey. And for those of you who are only able to like and subscribe, please do that, because that is priceless. The more views I get, the better. And I would like to do some lives. And if you're interested in seeing lives, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. And all right, we'll talk to you soon. See y'all next time. Bye.